Hey gamers, today I'm going to be showing you a computer I finally got back after giving it to someone a few years ago. A Sun SPARCStation 20. Now I thought there was a power supply issue because it was making loud noises, and I decided to let someone else have it because they might be able to figure it out. Well, they didn't do much with it, they just put it aside and stored it. And I talked to them later and I'm like, well, I've got these old Macs I could trade. They're like, sure, I don't have any Macs, so I traded them 2 Macs and an Atari ST for this SPARCStation 20 back. And I finally have it again. So, as you can see, it has a floppy drive, no CD drive. So as you can see, here's an interesting SPARCStation 20 quirk. There's a video port, but that doesn't work unless you have a video RAM card. If you don't, you have to put a frame buffer in one of the slots, which this doesn't have. So, I have to buy a frame buffer for this system for like 15 bucks. I also bought a fan for this system because one of the fans in this system is bad. Mainly the drive fan. It's a 40mm stupid fan. But let's see if the system works. Now, I had to purchase a mini gender changer from Micro Center because the right here, this actually has a female port, but you have to be able to plug in a male cable, and my serial adapter was female though because it was designed for PCs which had male ports, so I had to use a gender changer to get it to work. Alright, test number 1. Let's see if the system works. I've got a modern day Dell laptop hooked up with Windows 7 and all to a USB serial adapter to a null modem cable that's Cisco based. Attempt number 1. Let's see if this thing works. If this doesn't work, I'll just have to grab an old laptop. So yeah, let me just feel around. Okay, felt the back. Okay, let's turn it on. You can hear that fan. That fan is completely shitting itself. But it's running all the tests. It has TMS 390Z55. Wonder what that is. But first it's running all these tests is the dry fan is dying. Now I purchased a dry fan at the Micro Center for like 10 bucks. And I'm going to actually replace it. So this has 128 megs of RAM, it seems. No video memory. And seems to be posting. Hasn't done anything yet. Hasn't done anything since. That's odd. Let's go paste this. Control V. So apparently this seems like it's a 75 megahertz CPU. Starting real-time clock. Okay, so it seems like a 75 megahertz chip. Let's Oh, I know what happened. I know what happened. While this thing was stored, it forgot its Ethernet address. And the ID prom contains are invalid. That's why it took so long to post. But it's testing the RAM as the shitty fan shits itself. Love the host ID here. 390Z55 CPU. I think it's 75 megahertz. I just looked it up. But aside from the fact that it sounds like a broken vacuum cleaner or something, it seems to work. Really seems to work. So, it's not booting, but let's type in help. So, yeah. Seems to be working for the most part. And, yeah, so this sun actually does in fact work. But it seems like there's three issues. The first is the fan. Second is the fact that there's no hard drive for this thing. Third is the fact that there's no video frame buffer for this thing. Cheap fix. And fourth, the fact that, like you saw there, the ID prom contains are invalid. You really shocked here? It's a Sun. They all have that issue. Real-time clock. Look. I'm just going to type it in again. ID prom contains invalid. But it works. It works. So it's time to start buying parts for this thing, and that'll be fun. So the fan setup in the system seems like it's going to be very easy to replace. It's just, it's one of those good old, what do you call it? The, you know those cables where it's like, it basically shoots, on an IDE connector, like the little, or Molex connector, the, fan power. It basically cuts that out, and then it wires that 12-volt line to here. And it's also in between the, it looks like it's in between something else, so that's getting power the whole time, even if there's no CD drive, because of the floppy drive. So, this looks like it'll be a very easy setup to replace. Like, no wiring modifications need to be done. I could just unplug that and plug in another fan. So let's see how well I can do this. Alright, it's time for Jake Improvises shit. So, basically, the problem here is I only had a 20mm fan, and the fan just didn't like the new case and all. Like, it didn't like the mounting I used. So, thankfully there was a solution. I decided to flex tape it, and as for the wiring, I just used the wires that came with the fan, which is the same idea. Steals power off the Molex connector and goes to the fan. So, let's see what this does. Better pray to the sun gods that this thing doesn't catch fire when I try flicking the on switch, okay? So, 3, 2, 1. Let's get this in. Let's pray. Wow. This is quiet. Hearing a little bit of noise from that fan, but seems like it's much quieter than the old fan was. So there's that, I guess. So far the $10 seems to be worth it, and this is a much bigger fan than the other is, so damn. Much bigger fan. Nice. So far, it seems like it's cooling it just fine. I mean, this is a beefier fan than what was originally there. It's a little bit thicker, but oh well. Just might have to move the fan out when I put a hard drive in, but yeah. As you can see, there's no video modules or frame buffers, so I gotta use console, but yep, it's working great. So now I just gotta get the remaining parts I need to get this thing going, and this will be a fun little Unix box for a week or two before I get bored of it, like everybody who gets these computers does. They have fun with it for a while, and then next thing you know, boom, boom, I forgot about it. Better buy another one. But, you know, that's how it is in this hobby. So, yeah. Just having fun with the Spark. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more, gamers.